And the first season of Portland River Hogs football has been wrapped up, so it is time for the off-season, where rebuilds take place, where champions are born, where a whole bunch of stuff happens. Busts are drafted, champions are drafted, all kinds of stuff happens. Hopefully, we have the better side of that. And first things first, congratulations to the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Took on the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 51. And Super Bowl 50, correction, and came away with the victory by a score of 29-23 as Nick Foles is now a Super Bowl champion quarterback. Now, heading into this offseason, there was a lot that I wanted to do. The main two ones being beef up that offensive line, because that cost us so many games, and beef up the secondary. The safeties were fine the way they are. We had good safeties. It was just the corners were getting burnt so much, and the corners could not cover anyone, and we couldn't get any pressure on the quarterback. So there was a whole bunch of needs that we needed to address coming into the offseason, and I feel like I did a good job of that, but we'll get into that in a bit. First thing, we'll look at the stats for the season for passing, rushing, receiving. Starting off with passing, three quarterbacks with over 1,000 yards. Bortles, over 1,000, 6 touchdowns, 9 picks. Chase Daniel, traded for him before the trade deadline, 1,872 yards, 12 touchdowns, 14 picks. Now, a good chunk of that came when he was with the Chiefs, and he was injured pretty much the entire time he was with us. He only played about 3 or 4 games, and even in those 3 or 4 games, he managed to get hurt. Even if he wasn't out for multiple weeks, he was out for the entire game. Then we've got Ladarius Glass, the undrafted rookie, over 1,000 yards, 1,483 to be exact, 6 touchdowns, and 12 picks. Once again, I feel like those numbers would be a lot better if we actually had an offensive line to protect those quarterbacks. That's what people don't understand when they comment stuff like, oh, your quarterbacks are awful, oh, you need to do this, you need to do this, and they don't realize that the offensive line is literally one of the worst things I've ever seen in Madden in my entire time. I've been playing Madden since Madden 2002. I've never seen an offensive line worse than this one. Never played with one worse than this one, I should say. Then we flip things over to running, the rushing. 143 carries, 737 yards, and 4 touchdowns for the bruiser. That is Smash of Jonas Gray. And then we've got Dash, Kenyon Bonner, the Oregon Duck. 91 carries, 523 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then in the receiving game, we have our stud, 6'6" rookie out of Georgia. 79 receptions, 1,043 yards, and 6 touchdowns for the rookie, Vontae Brady. Then on the defensive side of the ball, our leading tacklers are Jonathan Cyprian, 90 tackles, and Leroy Reynolds, who played middle linebacker, technically listed as an outside linebacker. He will be shifted over this year to middle linebacker. 90 tackles, and he didn't even play until we traded away Posluszny. So 90 tackles, and he didn't even play the first few weeks of the season. That's pretty good if you ask me. Before we get into the re-sign period, the free agency period, and the draft period, we should take a moment to notice that the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, Drew Brees, is the NFL MVP, led them to an 11-5 season. They won their division, and they went to the playoffs. So, Drew Brees, MVP of the NFL. Then, now, let's head into the re-sign phase. We re-signed Jonas Gray and Ladarius Glass. So Jonas Gray and Ladarius Glass, they're coming back. A lot of people I did not want to re-sign because I wanted to have maximum cap room going into the offseason. And as you will see right here, Chase Daniel, look at that contract he wants. He wants a ridiculous contract for a guy who only played a short amount of games with us, and he wasn't even able to stay on the field without breaking a collarbone, tearing a hamstring, just being knocked out for a game. He wasn't able to do that, so I didn't feel like it was worth re-signing him. Now, I know there's going to be people flat out hating in the comments with, oh, well, you gave up a first-round draft pick for him, blah, 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 blah. I know. I understand this. I did the trade after all. I understand that I gave up a first-round draft pick for him. I understand that I gave up too much for him. I understand that. You don't need to tell me every single time I post a video, but moving on. We move over to the free agency. First move we made. Cornerback, Stephen Gilmore, 89 overall, beefing up the secondary. Bam, right there. Top corner on our team, just like that, he's on our team. Left tackle, beefing up the offensive line. Will Beatty, former New York Giant from the Giants franchise throwback. 85 overall, Will Beatty on the team. Left guard, Mackenzie Bernardo, 83 overall left guard. Once again, starting offensive lineman, beefing up that offensive line. Beef up the offensive line some more. Center, Tim Lolito, 83 overall center. Once again, beefing up the offensive line. The only people who are starting that are left from our team last year on the offensive line are Brandon Linder at right guard and Luke Jockle, who I moved from left tackle to right tackle. Flip things over to the defensive side of the ball, and we got Leroy Reynolds back. He did not want the contract that I originally gave him in the re-sign phase, so he basically decided he wanted to test free agency. And once he got the free agency, the only people who offered him a contract were, what do you know, the Portland River Hogs. So he comes back, he'll be our middle linebacker once again. Then, to beef up another linebacker position, right outside linebacker, we signed the former Baltimore Raven, the former Alabama Crimson side linebacker, Courtney Upshaw. Bringing him over to Portland. Courtney Upshaw is a good linebacker. Not great, but he's good. And he'll be able to fill the need, and hopefully beef up our defense some more, because we needed it. And now for everyone's favorite part of the offseason, the NFL draft. Everyone's favorite to talk about, everyone's favorite to blog about, everyone's favorite to just... In the offseason, everyone loves the draft. Everyone loves the incoming rookies, and that is what we have right here. And we have the 3rd overall pick. So, our first round pick is Vincent Stumpf, cornerback out of Florida, 79 overall, straight out of college. He's going to be our nickel corner to start off. 2nd round pick, Spencer Hurst, left tackle, Rutgers. He's only a 61 overall, looking out to be a bust. Right now he's going to be the backup left tackle. And I didn't plan on starting him straight off the bat, but I wasn't expecting to be a 61 overall either. 3rd round, we've got Shine Bright Like a Diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. I gotta stop doing that. Left end, Diamond McFadden out of NC State. 73 overall, coming straight out of college. Not too bad at all. 4th round pick, 65 overall, right outside linebacker, Dextrell Lucas out of University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And you flip things over to the 5th round, and we have a 84 overall defensive tackle in the 5th round, Anthony Kendricks out of North Texas, the Mean Green. He will be our number 2 defensive tackle, considering we run the 4-3 and we've got some Derek Marks. Either of these guys can be swapped around, but I think we're going to move him at the 2nd one just to start off. If he plays better than Marks, he'll be the number 1. But right now, he's the number 2. So we've got Derek Marks and Anthony Kendricks at the 1-2 defensive tackles. 6th round pick, right outside linebacker, 66 overall, Georgia Tech, Jabbar Powers. He is 66 overall, might not even make the team. Same with Dexter Lucas, the 65 overall linebacker. They both might not even make the team. 7th round pick, Dejon Mosley, 71 overall, left end out of Iowa, the Hawkeye. 7th round pick, 71 overall. He might make the team, he might not, depending on what happens with the defensive end position. And then every year when you get to the preseason, there's always those few free agents that slip through the cracks. No one wanted them in free agency for whatever reason, even though they're great players. No one wanted these guys, so they slip through the cracks into the preseason, and then you have the opportunity to sign them for relatively cheaper than what they would want, and for 1-year deals. So, since Kenyon Barner decided he did not want to come back as a Portland River Hog, we were lacking a spot in a faster running back. Because Jonas Gray is great. He can smash the ball, he can run up the gut, he can get you those tough yards. But he's not an every down back, I don't think. And I don't really have anybody in free agency isn't really an every down back. So, I went and signed Bryce Brown. Halfback, 78 overall. He'll be double teaming it with Jonas Gray. So it's Jonas Gray, Bryce Brown. That's the 1-2 punch this upcoming season. Then, to beef up the secondary even more, why Vincent Stumpf will not be the nickel corner, well, why he will be the nickel corner is because we have Stephen Gilmore as the number 2 corner, and Sean Smith, 93 overall, as the number 1 corner. This guy somehow fell through free agency. He's 29 years old, so I only signed a 1-year deal because that's all he can do in preseason. And we are probably not going to re-sign him next year because he's 30 years old. He's probably going to drop in speed. But as of right now, we probably have the last really solid year out of him. And that's going to help with this team while Vincent Stump develops, and hopefully for Season 4, he'll be a solid corner, and we'll have those two guys, Stephen Gilmore and Vincent Stump, at the top two guys for a long time coming. Then, the receiving core didn't exactly need a lot of buffing. We had a bunch of, like, mid-70 overall guys who played well, but I felt like Avante Brady needed another legitimate threat to give whoever the quarterback will be, because we will get to that soon, to give whoever our quarterback will be some options, some legit options. So Avante Brady and Mohamed Sanu, 89 overall, out of Rutgers. Mohamed Sanu, the former Cincinnati Bengal, is now a Portland River Hog, so the 1-2 receiver, Mohamed Sanu, Avante Brady. That's pretty solid if you ask me. Now, to look at who the starting quarterback for Season 3 of the Portland River Hogs is going to be. The Philadelphia Eagles offered me a trade for my number 4 corner. Number 4 corner. Keep in mind, this is my number 4 corner. This is not my first round pick. This is not something ridiculously giving up something huge for a quarterback. This is the Eagles offering me Matt Barkley. I believe 75 overall to start out for my 4th corner. Matt Barkley's still young. He's very accurate. He doesn't have the greatest arm strength, but our offense is not really built around arm strength. It's built around getting the ball down the field with short 5 to 10 yard throws and just moving the ball chunk at a time down the field and then giving it to the running back, getting the whole short chunks down the field. That's what our offense is built around. Matt Barkley fits that. He's accurate. He can get the ball to the quarterbacks, and Matt Barkley will be our starting quarterback, at least to start off. Hopefully he doesn't play awfully, especially with the new beef up offensive line. But to start off for Season 3, Matt Barkley, the former Eagles quarterback, backup quarterback, so he has 99 confidence, will be our starting quarterback. He has a ring to his name as a backup. Let's see if he can get a ring to his name as a starter. And with that being said, that'll wrap things up for the Portland River Hogs offseason. I've been your host, JerseyBorn, and I'm saying we'll see you for the start of the season.
I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy.